Hello everyone, this is Daniel, and I have another thing that's serious to say. I just remembered something. Are you going to a church, and this person seems to be very lawful, as I just figured out. Is your church very lawful, or in the lines of law breaking? Because, there are some words to say about that. There are some words to say about that I have. I do have words. Just know that. So, is your church very lawful? Does it have codes of conduct? Well, let me tell you something. You're just going in very dangerous lines because if your church is very lawful and has all these laws that you have to follow, and you have to do this, don't do this, in order to get to heaven, let me tell you something. If you stay at the church, you have a likelihood of becoming atheist or multi-theist, because or malatheist, because let me tell you something about the church. It's that it's so lawful. They're not evil. They're not good per se. There's a lot of gray areas in those churches. Churches that say you shall not do this, you shall do this. They cause a lot of people to become atheists and other thoughts of that Jesus is evil and all that. Because I've seen a lot of broken people come out of that church or other churches like it because not saying a specific church, but basically saying all the churches that are like that. These people break, and we are very frail. We easily break. If we have to do something that seems impossible, which it is, we will break. Because, we may be the sheep and we may listen, but if it's impossible, we freak out and run away. And if we're running away from God, or a God that is, too much of a horrible thing to us, and we can't go back, then where's the true God? Not in that church. No, is it? So I'm begging you, if there's a church that is very lawful and talks about sin and all that, and they're very much legalistic, as I can say, just don't go in that church. There's a lot of old people in that church, and young people just tend to shy away. There's few young people in those churches, but there's a lot of old people. Because the legalistic churches are meant for the old generation. I know that. And a lot of people back then were very legalistic, but they were hypocrites. This was back in the 40s through 20s. A lot of people liked doing the things of the lawful way, especially back in the 20s, because they thought, oh, these people were so horrible, we should not do that. Even back in the 1800s, people were drinking, partying, and the other people were just scoffing at them, saying how horrible they were. Those were just the churches of the times. But now we have the 50s. Now we have the rebellious movement. And people are just breaking away from those moments of those churchhoods. I'm sorry, but churches that are fully hypocritical, they destroy people's lives. I know that for a fact. We're not to be lawful. We're not supposed to be law-breaking. And even though if we have a fine line of what's law-breaking and what's lawful, we still have a narrow path, right? So how do we get out of that church, that lie of being legalistic or that lie of being law-breaking, well, this is very tough, because if you see a very fancy church, or an old-fashioned church that is made out of stone and has idols, they may be legalistic, but they're breaking the laws as well. And if you see a church that is literally, you know, that quite literally has, basically, let's say, big foundation, lovely looking, modern, those are the law-breaking ones. The ones that say you can do whatever you want, those are harmful to you, because they don't harm the youth in a way that they expect it to, but they don't talk about what you should do with Jesus. And that's another way you can send people to hell. Legalistic, they basically send people to hell because, not in an evil way, but I say that, I mean, it's very dangerous, those two, but, the one that is legalistic, a lot of people are going to hell because, they're breaking away, because they think it's horrible, and these people are, they're falling short. And that church, that has very much extra laws and all that. This is why Jesus said to the Pharisee, "You hypocrites. You absolute hypocrites." Because the Pharisees were absolute hypocrites, and the legalistic churches are very much hypocrites too. So how do we get out of it? Let me tell you. The only way is Jesus. Follow his commands. Do what he tells you to do. And almost everything he tells you to do. Even if you can't do everything he tells you to do as much as you can, because all the most important things that he tells you to do, the most important things he tells you to do, like missionary work, preaching, telling the word of God, all that, it's for a reason. It's to save people from hell. A legalistic church does not do that. A law-breaking church certainly does not do that. So, love your neighbor. Tell them Jesus is the only way. Do his will, and you shall make it to heaven. Because my will is going on YouTube and preaching this word. Your will is different, but only do Jesus' will. The most important things that Jesus tells you to do it completely. Everything else that he tells you to do, they're important, but sometimes it's too much for you, but he does this for a reason. They're all very important, especially the ones that he tells you, the main things he tells you to do, because that's your lifeline. Everything else, they're a sort of a lifeline that attaches to that lifeline. And not doing any of them is stressing that lifeline out. And basically, doing his will, no matter how important it is, it's crucial, because there are demons in the world. They're causing problems for you. And for whatever you say to them, to the world, you could break the branches, make the branches dry, or you could make them not grow at all. So please, I'm begging you, be with Jesus only. Doesn't matter what church you go to, as long as it's supporting Jesus only. If you see a lot of old people and young people combined, as well as middle-aged and kids, that's a church for you. That's a church for everyone. Because that's for Jesus, right? That's a healthy church. That is the church for Jesus. Just understand that, okay? Alright, I'll be done now, okay? Bye.